Hi, this is John Hine, and I want to talk to you today about taking control of your life. Now, this is based upon what I've learned throughout my life as a therapist, a coach, trainer, mentor, and it's also from research from Harvard University and the famous Mayo Clinic in the US. And what we're going to do, I'm going to teach you some hacks that are going to allow you to take control of your life in the shortest possible time, in the simplest possible way, doing the least possible things. So anything in life that's of any value takes effort, focus, and to a certain degree mental or physical discomfort. Anything that you really want. So if you want to get your degree, you have to go to university, you have to put the time in, you have to put the study in, and so you can't go out with your friends so much, and you don't have so much free time on your hands. So there's a level of discomfort. If you want to get fit, you have to go to the gym, you have to go for a run, you have to consciously decide that you're going to be fit. So there is a level of discomfort in that you can't spend that time out with your friends, watching TV, surfing or whatever. So we're going to cover success, health and happiness, the tools that you need to quickly take control of your life. We're hardwired to avoid pain and discomfort for obvious reasons. The trouble is that the mind sees things as pain and discomfort when they're just literally effort. I mean, actually getting fit is just effort. It's not really painful unless you really want it to be and you go crazy over your exercises. And your diet doesn't have to be that intense that you feel discomfort by massively missing out on things. Our brains constantly take the easy way out. Our brains are lazy. When we rely on our brain, we rely on our brain way too much to tell us what to do. So when we're deciding to get fit and we say, oh, it's a bit dark today, it might rain, it won't matter if I just miss one day. But the trouble is you don't just miss one day. Or if you are trying to lose some weight and you just say, well, yeah, one donut more won't hurt, will it? But you may not be doing that, but you'll be doing something similar in life because we're human beings. It's not our fault. That's what we're hardwired to be. Unfortunately, we're here to overcome ourselves because our genes, our brains are still living 2 million years ago when we had to do things that we don't have to do anymore. The trouble is we're bombarded by temptations, especially like food. There is food all around us. And it usually is high in sugar, high in salt and high in fat. For a good reason, they're all highly addictive. And so all those things that we know we shouldn't eat are always the most addictive and are always shoved in our face wherever we go. We've got something in front of us. Or we've always got temptations, we can spend a little bit more time surfing, or we spend a bit more time on social media. And this takes us away from the things that really are going to take us forward in life. So these temptations are everywhere. The most important thing is, if you've got strong temptations, is to avoid them if you want to get somewhere in life. Now, our site is called Successful, Healthy and Happy. And so I'm going to divide this talk into 3 different areas. And so it's hacks you can use to quickly become more successful, more healthy and happier. And success is in whatever you want to do. It's not just about success in business or career or making lots of money. It's success in sport, success in relationships, success with your kids. All these things are levels of success that you need to make you happy and have a more fulfilled life. As I said before, the mind is lazy. The brain is lazy. It will tell you to do stuff that it will tell you not to do things that you know you need to do. So if we rely on willpower, then we're in real trouble because human beings and willpower, they are a long way apart. We find it very difficult doing the things we know we need to do. So how do you get over that? And this is really simple, and this is a very cool method. You create a ritual out of it. So if you've got good rituals and or habits, that will stop you doing certain things and it will make you do others. For instance, we clean our teeth every day, and this keeps our teeth healthy. We don't get gum disease, and apparently if you've got the bacteria in your mouth, can adversely affect your heart as well. So that can cause heart disease too. So if you're keeping your teeth clean, you're doing lots of things at the same time. So it's a good ritual to have. We shower every day, which stop us smelling skanky, so people don't run away from us when we come in contact with them. We smell sweet, we're attractive to the opposite sex, and generally people find us more pleasing to be around. And it also allows us to be healthier in that we don't have bacteria constantly on our bodies, and we don't ingest the bacteria when we eat our food. So they're two really, really good rituals to have. Try and have a clear plan of what you want to do. If you want to be a success in life, you've got to have a plan. You've probably heard me talk about this all the time. Have a plan. Divide that into yearly, monthly, weekly and daily rituals. These things will get you through to where you need to go. Because if you've got a plan and you're ticking off every time you hit that goal, you'll feel good and you know that you're actually moving towards what you want to do. You always should be moving forward. So have those plans, tick off those every day, tick off the goals that you're meant to achieve and stick to it. Write your plans down. Write down every day what you want to achieve in life. Say it out loud, this is a ritual. I intend to do this, and do it. Then as you hit your goals, tick those goals off one at a time. It feels really good. And then at the end of the week, celebrate the fact that you achieved all these goals and that you're now 7 steps closer to achieving your final goal, no matter what it might be. Have checklists. What do I need to do today? Do the stuff I need to do early on. The earlier on you get it done, you know beyond any doubt that that's going to take you forward. Then the less important stuff you can do for the later in the morning or in the afternoon. Always celebrate your successes. Don't just assume, oh that's great, having a success. So a small celebration every week. Go out, have something to eat. Sit down, have a coffee with your friend. Something that you find really good. And do this as a celebration of the fact you've hit your goals. As I said, do your important stuff first thing in the morning. The first 90 minutes of the day are the most important. So if you can turn off your phone, not look at your emails, not get involved in social media, then you will get work done in the most profitable part of the day, which is the first thing, the first 90 minutes, 2 hours. You cannot work flat out throughout the day. So the things you really have to think about should be done in the first 90 minutes. The rest of the day should be your routine tasks that you need to do, but the ones that are the most important are the ones that are going to take you forward that day and can constitute another step for that week. If you want to do big things in life, you must have a coach or accountability group. I've got 2 accountability groups that I belong to that keep me on track and that make me do what I need to do every day, every week and every month. Just imagine if top athletes didn't have coaches, they would be running slower, jumping less high, throwing things less far. So the coach keeps you accountable, keeps you on track. And even CEOs of big multinationals now have their own coaches, their own mentors that make sure that they do what needs to be done. Entertainers, great performers in any area of life, great businessmen, they all have their own coaches or their own accountability groups. If you can't afford to do either of those, then have a buddy. A buddy is not as good as a coach or an accountability group because your buddy's your friend. And sometimes they'll let you get away with things that a coach or an accountability group will not let you get away with it. If I say I've done something, I have to achieve it. And in the end, it's the getting stuff done is what gets you where you want to go. If you feel driven to do something, you probably don't need to do it. Because if all of a sudden you've got this really strong compulsion to do something, take a minute or two to think, do I really need to do this? Is this going to get me where I want to go, or is it just going to get me in more trouble? Because quite often we feel compelled to do things, rush, 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 tear, 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 and it actually is a primitive instinct. It's part of your flight and fight syndrome from millions of years ago, when we had to do things for survival. But nowadays we get compelled to do things, and the advertising industry knows exactly how to push our buttons to make us feel necessary that we've got to buy this thing now or do this thing now. So they know what buttons to push. So when you feel compelled to do something, take time and think about, is this really going to serve me, or is this just somebody pulling my chain and trying to make me do something? Focus on the job in hand. Do one job at a time. So if you've got 5 things you have to do today, focus on the most important first, then second, third, fourth and fifth. After that you can do routine tasks. But in this way you make sure the stuff you need to get done will get done, and it will take you further and faster in your life to do the things you need to do. The brain works in bursts. Don't try and be highly effective all the time. You cannot work the day with more than about 20-minute bursts of really concentrated work. So if you need something to be done, you need some high value thinking, do that in 20 minutes. Then have a little coast, have a break, then do another 20 minutes. This is far better than trying to be highly motivated all the time. So do the important high level thinking in 20-minute bursts, then do some coasting, have a break so that you can rejuvenate and start all over again. In this way you stay more effective for longer periods of the time. If you just try and work flat out all day through, you'll just end up getting exhausted and end up being highly unproductive and get overwhelmed in the end. What are your personal values? Your personal values, your integrity, things that you will not change no matter what. So if someone came and offered you £1 million or dollars, whatever denomination you can think of, you will not change that value you have in life, because it says who you are. Now this is really important, because when times get tough and things get hard going, there is always the temptation to take shortcuts, do on occasions underhand things, or do iffy things. Now eventually people will find out and they won't want to do business with you. So if you always have high integrity, you always look after your customers, you always do the best you can in whatever circumstances, no matter what, then you will go through life with more friends, better business, and end up being more successful. Your values are your brand. So what do you stand for? If you had to ask someone who was a close friend of yours what you stood for, you will hope they'll say the things that you hold the most true. That's what sets you apart from everyone else. Your values are your personal brand. Okay, let's cover the second part, which is health. A few things you can do in the simplest possible way to get you the farthest possible in the best possible health. Without health you have nothing. So the first thing you should do is keep away from high calorie foods. Once in a while high calorie foods are good, but if you constantly have food which are loaded with sugar, salt, fat and loads of carbohydrates, so try and minimize your contact with high calorie foods. They make you fat, they make you sluggish, and they're not good for your health. So if you can do it to a minimum, that's okay. If you occasionally have a bit of a blowout and have high calorie foods, that's okay. But you are what you do 95% of the time. So if you eat good 95% of the time, you're going to tend to have good health throughout your life. at least minimise the times when you're sick. Eat lots of vegetables. Especially have at least one meal a day where you're eating raw vegetables. Now, some people, raw vegetables sound like really awful things to have, but raw vegetables are full of enzymes, and at some point we are going to find out that enzymes could be the most important thing that you consume. So the more enzymes, the more vegetables you can have, the better. Cooked vegetables are okay, but quite often the enzymes get cooked out of the vegetables. So this is going to be a good thing to have. So I use a vitamin bullet every day for one of my meals. I have purely vegetable and protein. So I take spirulina powder or something similar to that. You can have soy powder or whey powder, whatever you find the most conducive. So you've got vegetables and you've got protein. Which usually will sustain you through the rest of until your next meal, so you don't need to have solid food all the time. Get those raw vegetables into you. Occasionally miss meals. I do it all the time, and these short fasts between you knock out lunch or you knock out dinner actually helps your body recover. Eating 3 meals a day only came about because of the Industrial Revolution. Our ancestors used to work really, really hard. Our grandparents, great-grandparents, they physically worked hard. And so before they went to work in a factory or something like that, they would have something to eat because they needed the fuel to see them through the day. Now the employers will give you a lunch break simply because, well, they had to, because if you didn't have something to eat halfway through the day, because the jobs were really physical, you won't be able to do the job properly. And you ate after work simply because you maybe have burnt 5,000 or 6,000 calories and you were hungry. You were genuinely hungry and you needed something to rebuild your body. So if you can miss meals occasionally, it will help you that much better. There is something in America called the nurses study, and it's very famous, and you read stuff from it and it's really, really informative. So for the last 40 years, hundreds of thousands of nurses have filled in these questionnaires about what their daily lives are like, what they eat, what they don't eat, what they tend to do. And they found out that if you have the people with higher magnesium in their diets tended to have 47% less illnesses. That's very cool. That's a simple hack. Just start to eat foods with more magnesium in them. Now, foods that have magnesium in them are something like almonds, but if you actually Google on the web, you can find out what foods are high magnesium value, because it can have a lot of benefit by a very simple thing to do. And if you want to reinforce that with taking a daily magnesium pill or tablet, so much the better. Have natural vitamin C. Vitamin C of all sorts is good for you, but natural vitamin C gets absorbed in a completely different way from synthetic vitamin C. And you'll find out most of the vitamin Cs have probably been grown rather than being naturally sourced from foods. So if you can have a natural vitamin C, research proves that the vitamin C, when it's natural, gets absorbed so much more slowly. So during the day your vitamin C levels are quite constant. Whereas if you have a synthetic vitamin or a vitamin C which has been grown, then it will be absorbed that much quicker. So you're going to need that much more. Natural vitamin C, you obviously know, oranges, things like that. It's also best if when you have an orange, instead of having orange juice, which has no fibre in it, your body absorbs it that much quicker. And because it absorbs it quicker, it causes a sugar to rise rapidly, so it tends to make you fat. Whereas if you have an orange, you actually eat it in with its fibre, etc., it tends to be absorbed more slowly because of the fibre. It makes all the vitamins, minerals be absorbed more slowly into your body. Aging is always a problem. we're all going to have to get old, but it doesn't. There are different speeds at which you can aim at which you can age at. And if you can repair your DNA, you tend to get less chronic illnesses as you get older. So in effect, you may be chronologically older, but you're not physically older, which I think is very cool. So you can live life into your 80s and 90s and still be really fit, healthy, strong, without the maladies that a lot of people have. Now, it was found out about 5 years ago that you can help protect your DNA. They found something called telomeres. And telomeres are the things that sort of bind your DNA together. And it's like, and they found out that the aging process was that every time you change cells every 7 years, your whole body gets rejuvenated every 7 years. That every time you produce a new set of cells, they're slightly inferior to the ones before, which is what is called the aging process. And if you imagine that these telomeres were like tails, little tiny tails on your DNA, and every time you created a new cell, a little bit of the tail broke off. Now what this team found out in the US, and they won the Nobel Prize for Medicine, I believe, about 5 years ago, they found out that when the tail breaks off completely, basically you're on your last knockings. But the nice thing was that there are things you could do that would stop you from breaking off the tails of your DNA, these telomeres, and you could actually lengthen them, so you could actually get younger. Now there is a substance you can have which is called TA65. I don't know how effective it is, but I've seen research which says it's very effective. But it's also very expensive. But there are easier, more simple and cheaper, more costly ways of being able to repair your telomeres and your DNA. So the things that help with repair your DNA are fish oil. So get the best fish oil you can, maybe in a capsule. Eating fish is good too. And milk thistle. There are lots of other things, and I will tell you on the site. In the future, we're going to be doing stuff about nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and research that I've seen, done, and taken part in to help you live longer, happier, and actually grow younger as time goes by. So milk thistle is really good. Milk thistle is really quite inexpensive. You can get it from the health food store. And what milk thistle does is it helps clean your liver out. And your poor old liver is doing tremendous work detoxifying your system. And milk thistle helps it do that. So milk thistle is good to help repair the telomeres. Fish oil is good to help repair telomeres. And one of the most important things to help repair your telomeres is getting rid of stress as much as possible. So do your mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness is good for stress. It stops you from getting stressed, keeps you more in control of your life. And we will be talking about mindfulness in great depth in the membership site in days to come. Practice meditation. That will help you keep stress under control. And the more you keep stress under control, the longer your telomeres will get, and effectively the younger you'll become. Isn't that cool? Actually getting younger. So dolloping face cream on your face, yeah, maybe it'll work, but it's better if you have less stress in your life. You practice Tai Chi. Tai Chi is brilliant for stress. Yoga is good for stress. Meditation is good for stress. Being aware and mindfulness is good for stress. So bring these things into your life. If you do your meditation, your yoga, just 20 minutes, your Tai Chi a day, you will be less stressed. You'll start to get younger, and you'll stop suffering all the nasty side effects that stress does for you. Taking zinc. Now, even if you take a zinc zinc tablets, you're not going to absorb that much. So always make sure these are the most available forms of zinc, and you can always ask in the store about this. But one of the good things about zinc is there's lots of it in pumpkin seeds. which are great with salads. So I have pumpkin seeds every day. They're really good. They're high in beta-cytosterol and they're high in zinc too. So as you get older, you don't absorb zinc to the same degree. So if you can take these things in, you eat your pumpkin seeds, you get your bioavailable tablets from a health food store. This will help you keep, because zinc is one of the most important minerals in your body. It takes part in literally thousands of operations. So if you're lacking in zinc, it's not good for your overall health. Taking a multivitamin. I will recommend in the site the multivitamins in the US and UK that I've found to be really, really good. So you look out for those. Eat more broccoli, cabbage and Brussels sprouts. I know what you're going to say about Brussels sprouts. They've got a really bad reputation. But strange thing is, if you have broccoli, cabbage and Brussels sprouts, they are really good raw. It's only when you cook them sometimes you get the more yucky taste. But you can also stir fry them with some garlic. Like if you have Brussels sprouts are probably the least liked vegetables in existence. If you stir fry them with some garlic, they're really sweet and they're really good to eat. And they're really high in something called sulforaphane, and which is good for helping prevent cancer. So it's obviously very, very important. There's also lots of other good stuff in them as well. So broccoli is especially good for guys because it helps keep your prostate healthy. And as you get past 40, if you're a guy, you have problems with it's more and more guys have problems with their prostate. So if you have plenty of broccoli, it helps you not producing too much estrogen. Because as you get older, what happens is your testosterone, as you use it, can turn into estrogen, which is really bad for you. All men have all got estrogen and women have all got testosterone. But when you've got too much, whether you're a man or a woman, if you've got too much estrogen in your system, it's not good for you. And the broccoli, you've got chemicals in broccoli that help you control too much estrogen, and it stops the testosterone turning into estrogen, which is really good for you, especially for guys, but it's good for you gals too. Exercise every day, whether it be walking, going to the gym, going for a run, swimming. Do your exercise every day. Make it a thing you do, at least half an hour a day. Don't sit still for more than half an hour. Stand up and have a little walk around for at least 5 minutes, because it's really bad for your health. Research tells us that when you sit down, your body actually shuts down. A lot of the stuff that happens when you're standing up and moving around stops happening, and that's not good for your health. Also, if you stand up regularly, you tend to put less weight on because you're actually using up calories, your joints are not seizing up, and you're feeling that much better, and it's so much better for your back too. So exercise, no matter what it is, keep your exercise every day. If you're out of condition, then maybe you ought to see your health practitioner before you just dive headfirst into going to the gym and doing 7 days of high intensity training. Not such a good idea. So talk to your health practitioner first before you do that. Get someone to teach you how to exercise properly. Money well spent. Make your muscles work. Every day make your muscles work. So if you have to lift weights or do something physical, it's good for your health. Obviously, if you're in ill health already, ask your medical practitioner to recommend a exercise regime that's going to be good for you. But if you're in good health, then making your muscles work every day is that much better for you. And if you make your muscles work, it causes you to secrete growth hormone, which is really good for your health. It tends to keep you younger and help you live longer and make you healthy. High intensity training is being really vaulted at the moment. Check it out before you get involved in it. But high intensity training has the added benefit that it makes your muscles work really hard, but also it only takes 20 minutes a day to do. But also go and check out your high intensity training, or HIT. Go and find out about it. If it's going to suit you, then use it. If it doesn't suit you, no harm, no foul. And the last bit of the hacks I'm going to teach you is how to be happy. And happiness is the most important thing. You need to be healthy, it's good to be successful, but if you're not happy, you can't enjoy anything. So what sort of hacks, what tools can I give you that I've learned from my research, for people like Harvard University, Mayo Clinic, and all the stuff I've done as a therapy practitioner. Everything works out in the end. No matter what's happening in life, it will work out. For good or ill, you will deal with it and you'll move on. So worrying about things is not going to do you any good at all. We're hardwired to be negative, and that's from our far distant ancestors millions of years ago. If we were not negative, then we would have died out, our species would have died out a long time ago. So it's a survival instinct. So we were being chased by wild animals that were enormous and strong and powerful. We might be attacked by other rival tribes, starvation, lack of water, disasters of all sorts. So if we were negative, then it meant that we survived. But most of those dangers don't exist anymore. But we've still got this negativity in our lives. So we've got to consciously overcome it. So our brains may be thinking negative things, but we've got to consciously plan our way out of that negativity. It's good for our health and it's good for our success. That negativity kept our ancestors alive. It doesn't do us any good. So some of the best things you can do, don't be judgmental. Everybody screws up. You screw up, I screw up, we see other people screw up. Don't take it too seriously. Don't get too worked up about it. Only deal with what you need to deal with. Forget about being judgmental, because in the end, we can't judge, otherwise we end up being judged by others. So we have to be a little bit more thoughtful in what we're doing. Being judgmental is one of the best things you can get rid of. It doesn't serve any purpose at all. Try and spend as much time in nature. It's really good to go out in nature, get away from people, listen to the birds, see the animals, just take life easy. You need to be alone sometimes. Being on your own is good because it sort of resets your brain, resets your mood. So go out in nature, take in some breath of fresh air, get some exercise. It's really good to take time out on your own. Be kind to other people. Being kind to others makes you feel good too. So it's a win-win. So if you're kind to other people, you feel good, makes you feel better, makes you younger, and helps you grow onwards and upwards. Do acts of random kindness. You know, you don't have to do it, but do at least one act of random kindness a day. It is so good. I've seen people, just letting people who are old and finding it hard to do things, or people who obviously just can't cope at that time, go and ask them, can I help you? Is this something I can do for you? It can make all the difference in the world, someone just caring. And it makes you feel great because you're not going to get a reward for it. Your raw reward is the fact you're not going to get a reward. It makes you so much better. When things go wrong in life, focus on the things that went right. All you need to do is, when you focus on what went wrong, you only do it to learn from the experience. You say, I'm never going to do that again. You make a real impact into your subconscious. Say, I don't want to do this again, and I want you to remind me next time you see me going down that path. But also, when everything goes wrong, there are also some things that went right. So focus on the things that went right. Learn from the things that went wrong. What benefits did you get when things went wrong? You learned stuff. It made you focus more. It made you, reminded you to do things right and to do it in the right way. So you've got lots of benefits even when it went wrong. Practice mindfulness every day. Now, I always talk about mindfulness because not because it's namby-pamby, it's not. It allows you to take control of your day, allows you to take control of your life. So you tend to make less mistakes, you tend to do things better, you're less stressed, and you're more in control. So do your mindfulness practice every day. And if you for me to spend more time on mindfulness, there's lots of different types of mindfulness, and I can teach you how to do it. I learned it from a famous Lama meditation teacher who taught me mindfulness on thought, which just covers about every sort of mindfulness you can think of. So if you want me to go into real detail, I will do that on the site. If you've got any, connect your mind and body. Your mind and body is supposed to work together. Most things we do in life are either physical or mental. But if you can join the body and mind together, it makes you much more in tune with yourself and what's going on in your body, what's going on in your mind. So if you practice things like Tai Chi, which is really good to do, because it harmonises your mind and your body, it slows you down, diminishes stress and puts you more in control. And the same thing with yoga. Yoga breathing exercises can be really good for your health, and the stretching is good for you too. So that will bring you more in tune with you. Don't take yourself too seriously. If you take yourself seriously, you're going to turn into an anal retentive. You're going to get up other people's back. You're going to make your own life a misery. So you make mistakes like everybody else. When you make a mistake, just take a note of the mistake. You're not going to do it again, and just laugh about it. Literally, laughing at yourself can be really, really helpful. And the last thing is, forgive other people. Now this is not about, as I said, like wishy-washy, I'm going to be really good and forgive other people. If people have done things bad to you in the past and you're still clinging on to them, forgive them. And it's not for their benefit, it's purely for yours. Because if you're carrying this stuff around with you, it's not good for your health, it's not good for your mind. So forgive them, let them go, forget it. Just learn the lessons and let them just drift off in the past, so you can focus on your great present and your even better future. So forgive them, get it out of your system and move on. Okay, there's a lot of stuff there. You don't have to do it all at once. You can gradually introduce it all into your life to make you healthier, happier, more in control, and ultimately more successful. If you've got questions, ask them in the group and I'll answer you as quick as possible. If I don't know the answer to it, I'll try and get in someone to talk to you who does. John signing out. You have a good one. Bye.